Well, welcome to Granite's Tech Talk, where I am interviewing some of the amazing subject matter experts at Granite to discover what's hot right now and why sales partners should be talking to their clients about these technologies. Today I'd like to introduce Bennett Alpert, the VP of Wireless, and Thomas Kylander, the Senior Mobility Specialist for Granite Telecommunications. Guys, welcome to Granite's Tech Talk.
Thank you for having us, Steve.
Nice to have you on. I get on these Monday morning calls and I hear about all the wins we're doing, and a lot of people think of us for just aggregation or POTS replacement, but your product set, the multi-carrier SIM and wireless services, are something that we're doing really well at. We've had tremendous success with those products. So, Thomas, talk about that. What is Granite's multi-carrier SIM and wireless services all about?
Yeah, so overall, Granite Wireless has been responsible for 40% of the year-over-year growth over at Granite. And, historically, we've really been focused on our direct agreements with Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, particularly in the US. But what we're really finding from a lot of our customers is the need and the want for one SIM really with all of those profiles. So Granite's multi-carrier SIM takes advantage of all of our direct agreements, plus about 500 international carrier agreements, and really puts it all on one SIM. So it's ultimately designed for data-only applications, whether that's IoT, traditional handsets like hotspots and tablets, and aggregates all of our cellular agreements onto one SIM and gives the end user really the control to control what network they want to use and when they want to use it. Of course, there's a lot with redundancy natively built into the SIM that differentiates it versus a carrier-specific SIM. But fundamentally, what it does is it brings whatever cellular available technology there is out there, whether that's Verizon, AT&T, or T-Mobile, or one of the 500 partner carriers, and brings it into one platform on one SIM just to simplify end-user experience.
Well, that's a great overview. Thank you. A lot of people know us to be, multi-location, multi-region, and that kind of thing. But what's the ideal customer type that's where you're seeing the most success, is taking advantage of our multi-carrier SIM and wireless?
Yeah, so there's really kind of two I want to bring up. The first I would say is anyone who's a large IoT, type shop, any large IoT connectivity project. At the end of the day, has tens of thousands of sites around the US or internationally. And historically, navigating which SIM to use for what location has been difficult. So with the Granite multi-carrier SIM, it really simplifies it and gives them one SIM, one SKU, but the ability to dynamically choose what they want to use for the underlying provider. Furthermore, there's a level of redundancy built into that, where if you do need to shift from Verizon to AT&T, just as carrier technology and availability changes, you can do that all back end. So unlike traditional carrier direct SIMs where you're having to roll a truck and do a SIM swap, with the multi-carrier SIM, you can do it seamlessly. The second one, we've definitely seen some success with is with international travel. So in particular, airlines, right? That are flying 30 days a month, to a different country. Typically they may be using a carrier day pass or some comparable plan like that. And that gets expensive fast. If you take an airline where they're offloading just kind of manifest information like that on an iPad, they're being hit with $10 a day for very small amounts of data usage. You're talking 50, 100 megs a day. So with Granite's multi-carrier SIM, you can have one plan where you're going to only pay local rates in each of those countries. And ultimately what we found is great savings. We're talking about bringing a bill from $200-300 a month down to $10-20.
That's great. Well, Bennett, talk about, is this a commodity? Does everybody offer it? Or do we have some kind of unique value in this space?
That's a great question. There's a lot of multi-carrier SIMs out there. Matter of fact, we've sold a couple of them over the years, and quite often we get on the calls and try to convince people not to use them, and that's for a number of reasons. The biggest one is they all work on roaming agreements only, and the carriers sometimes get finicky with that. Verizon got angry at a lot of the multi-carrier SIM providers last year for putting a lot of non-certified devices on their network, and they literally shut them off. So if you didn't catch the other two networks, you were in trouble. Now, as you know, Granite sells Fortune 500, top of the line customers. We can't mess around with our product line. So we set out to talk with our carrier partners and have them allow us to put our regular standard wholesale agreements on a Granite SIM. So not only will we have the roaming, and we will use roaming rest of world. Haven't heard of any issues like in the EU. People use roaming every day. They go from one country to the next just for lunch. So there haven't been issues, but there's only 3 carriers in the United States and they can get finicky. So we wanted to make sure our customers, whether they use roaming or not, will have a direct carrier contract to load their SIM on. So that's one of the big differentiators. Second, Granite also has its own telecommunications networks with points of presence in all the NFL cities. We're in the process of linking our telecom network into the core wireless network. So instead of having just 1 or 2 points of presence in the country to have your data travel to, we'll have over 20. So that's going to mean faster performance, better latency, higher quality overall experience. And then the final thing Thomas also mentioned is we don't care what carrier you use. We do so much volume that our rates are all pretty much the same anyway. So we don't make you go to T-Mobile first and AT&T second and Verizon third because they're the most expensive typically. If our customer wants everything to start on Verizon, so be it. And then in our portal, we've designed it so if someone's not having the best experience, they literally can just click that order and change it, and it changes in 20 seconds over the air. So the speed of the change and the technology that we're using to operate these SIMs and the knowledge that's on the SIMs is also an advantage.
That's great. That's great. Well, Bennett, I know you know this. Sales partners are bombarded with vendors, suppliers, carriers saying, "Hey, sell our stuff. Don't forget we do this too." Why should the Granite's multi-carrier SIM and wireless kind of be on the top of the mind for them to talk to their customers about?
Well, besides the differentiators I just mentioned, this product is fun to sell because it's in high demand. It's nice to sell something that everybody wants. So along with that, what comes to the partner channel is commissions. We pay high commissions, so it's an easy product to sell, high demand. You can certainly increase your income selling a multi-carrier SIM. So if you haven't already jumped on the wireless bandwagon, it is definitely the time to do so.
Right on. Now you're speaking their language. More money. That's great. That's great. Well, guys, hey, Bennett, Thomas, thank you so much. And I know how busy you guys are because you're killing it. Our division's killing it. Thanks for spending time on Granite Tech Talk. I appreciate it.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for watching, everybody.